So we talked a little bit about golf. We're talking a little bit about football. Last time we were together, we talked about Tom Brady and where he might land. Many people thought the Chargers might actually be a good landing spot for him. I would have done anything I could have done if I were the Chargers to get him, because not only do you get Brady, but you get all that comes with the superstar that is Brady. And now you get Gronkowski to come play with Brady. And so Tampa Bay has become the epicenter of the NFL offseason universe, shockingly. It's hard for me to even believe the risk. I mean, seriously, the risk that Tom Brady takes going from the number one franchise in the NFL to a lower third level franchise of the NFL in terms of wins and in terms of technology and all the things that the Patriots have access to that the Buccaneers normally don't spend on. All I'm saying is it's a huge risk that Brady is taking. I'm fascinated by the fact that he's doing it. I actually can't wait to follow it all year long.
Well, don't think for a minute that the Chargers didn't pursue him aggressively. This was a family decision that was predicated on Tom wanting to be on the East Coast, to be closer to wherever his family is going to be domiciled. So it's as simple as that. I can't wait to see what that's going to look like, too, with Tom in another uniform. And now that the Gronkowski thing, I didn't see it coming, but he's got to put on a lot of weight. I know that. Tom got his left tackle last night in the draft. And by the way, the Chargers ended up getting their quarterback. So we'll see. The last time they took a kid out of Oregon, worked out pretty well.
Yeah, a guy who just recently, by the way, Dan Fouts to me is such an important part of my life in a weird way, just because over the course of the years, I had a chance to work with him many times.
Yeah.
And one of the most important nights, I've talked to Dan about this, was at Dick Enberg's home after a game, where Dick had invited us after the broadcast to come to his house for dinner. And we were having dinner with Dick and Dan, and Dan's wife was Dick Enberg's assistant. That's how Dan had met his wife. And this is so many years earlier. And we'd had this incredible, deep conversation that had very, very impactful stuff. I was sad to see Dan go. I mean, to me, Dan Fouts, as a broadcaster, Jim, you can talk about the radio work he's done, the CBS work, the Monday Night Football work, at times play-by-play, not just analyst. You talk about a brilliant career from player to broadcaster. I've got nothing but the utmost respect for Dan Fouts.
I do too, and I'm sure that it's not over for him. I got to work with him several times on some NFL games back in the days when, there were a couple of occasions where Vern Lundquist might have had a conflict, and I'm trying to think of where I would have been on the food chain at that time. But I ended up calling some games with Dan. Loved it. Called the Blockbuster Bowl with him one time.
Oh, really?
And it was Joe Paterno against Bill Walsh.
Oh, wow.
Stanford against Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved hanging around him. His wife, Jerry, you just mentioned how they got introduced. But he's good people and a great broadcaster. I mean, he's had a Hall of Fame broadcasting career. You think about it.
Big time. No question about it. Hall of Fame broadcaster, Hall of Fame football player.
And very likable. That's one of those things, one of the quotients, you can't kind of the intangibles. I'm going to sound like one of these draft prognosticators that has all these different things. You can do this, you can do that. We don't measure broadcasters on how fast they can run the 40, but one of the things that gets, I think, overlooked too often is how much the viewers actually like somebody. They feel a warmth radiating from that guy. And Dan definitely had that to go along with a lot of other very strong qualities.
Big time.